Hi, I'm Dave. We're here at Landmore National Historic Site, and I'm very excited to bring you something new today. We're starting a brand new series of projects and videos we're calling Museum Makers. In this series, we're going to learn about objects from the museum's collection by replicating. Today, we're taking a look at this Bagatelle board. This version of Bagatelle is a tabletop game where you just flick a marble up and it'll bounce off pins and eventually land in a hole or in one of these pockets. It's very exciting for me to think that we're going to be able to recreate this into something that kids or visitors to the museum will get to handle as opposed to just see from across the room behind a rope. Now if you're interested in making one yourself, I've provided measurements and a plan in the link down below. Click on that and please send us a picture. We'd love to see your work. Let's get started. To make a replica, we're going to need a large piece of wood. Now the base of this I believe to be pine. It's almost 3/4 of an inch thick, just a hair thicker. So I selected a nominal piece of 1-inch pine, which gives us 3/4 of an inch. The width of the baseboard is 10 3/4 inches. The length is 2 feet. Now, I should specify that I'm doing this as something that people can handle, something that people can try. I want a replica that's good for hands-on programming, school kids or visitors to the museum. I'm not really concerned about reproducing this using exactly the same techniques as the original, so I'm going to use modern hand tools. If you're doing this at home, it's entirely up to you whether you want to recreate this using historic tools, or if in fact you want to use something like plywood or a modern material like EVA foam or cardboard for this project. The patterns that we've linked below should help you either way. So I'm just going to rip this to the width because it's a little wide on a table saw. I'll square it off and then cut the radius using a jigsaw. So I'm just going to use some sandpaper to clean up the edges here, smooth out the cut. So we've created the base form of our Bagatelle board, but we need to create a raised edge. And for that I've selected a piece of ash that I've ripped down to be 1/4 of an inch thick, 1.5 inches high. I need 60 inches to go all the way around the lead edge of this, so I've cut it a little long at 62 inches. And what I've done is I bound this to create a little bit of flex, a little bit of bow. I tied it off, and then I've soaked the center portion where most of the bend is going to happen. I've soaked this in a pan of water over the weekend, and that saturation of water will make steaming this and curving it a little bit easier. So in order to make our wood more pliable, we're steaming it. Sometimes you'll see this done with a steam box. I don't have one of those, and for just the one project, I don't really think it's worth building one. So simple low-tech, have a pot of boiling water on the stove. It's large enough I don't have a lid for it, so I just have a tray over top, and I am letting the piece of wood soak in the steam from one side of the bend to the other. A bit like a piece of pasta in boiling water, our wood has started to soften, and we can see that it's going to flex quite a bit. So what I'll do is I will form this around our baseboard and I'll clamp it directly to it. We have the raised ash rim clamped in place. In order to hold it there, I'm going to nail it down with some small box nails with a head just the same size as the originals. I've scribed on a copy of where the original nail holes are, and I will just go ahead and use a drill to do a pilot hole to make sure I'm not going to split the ash or the pine. Okay, so I've discovered a couple of things. I said I'd measured the line of this to be 60 inches, and I gave myself 2 extra inches. This is a lot more than 2 inches. I think I've slightly miscalculated. Certainly if you have 60 inches, that's going to be enough, but I think I've got about 3 extra inches on each side. The other interesting thing is I've ripped a piece of ash to be 1/2 inch wide, and 1.5 inches thick. If I were making this just to make a Bagatelle board myself, I would cut that even with the width of the board. But looking very, very carefully at the original, I can see that the side rails are actually notched out. We can see that there is a little notch here that is just about 1/16 of an inch. I'm not sure how that makes it better, but because I'm trying to recreate the original, that's what I will do. I think in this case I'm going to cheat and just run a belt sander along there and notch it out that way. To create the holes in our board, I'm using a 7/8 Forstner bit. Bulk of our Bagatelle board constructed here. Little pockets for marble to slide into, the side rail, to slide the marble up. I have seen some really beautiful Bagatelle boards with ornate designs and patterns, particularly up in this open area and down here. A lot of those seem to be printed patterns on cards that are mounted to the board before these pieces of wood are added. I'm trying to reproduce ours, which is pretty plain, so I'm leaving that off, but if you want to include patterns or print something off, I'd encourage you to do that. The only thing left for me to do is add in a few nails, 82 actually. I'm going to be using brad nails. They're the right shape, they're the right size. These are just little 1 1/4 15 gauge brad nails. In order to keep those as straight as possible, I'm going to put this in the drill press and pre-drill some pilot holes. I've very carefully graphed out where the nails need to be. So I've put a lot of pencil lines on this. So what I'm going to do is drill the holes first, sand off the pencil lines, and then put the nails in. So here we go. The original has numbers put on, actually down here. They've been gone over a number of times, so the sequence is not 100% clear, but they've just been put on with a lead pencil. So I've done mine with a graphite pencil. Other interesting feature is the owner of this, I believe, has put on a chess and checkerboard on the back. I don't know whether that's the camera's picking that up. So I did the same on the back of mine. And the best thing is the sound. I propped up the end just to give it a bit of an incline. Oh, 20 points. And a 10. So there you have it, a replica Victorian style Bagatelle board. I've had some fun and learned something today. I hope you have as well. If you decide to make one of these yourselves, please send us a picture. We'd love to see your work. And until next time, I'm Dave at Glanmore. Have a great day. In order to create the holes for our marbles to go in, I'm using a 7/8 Forstner bit that's not plugged in.